Preparing to write my To the Point this morning, it strikes me that today is Friday, March 13th. For many people, that will not be lost on them today, and you may be one of them because these are strange times. Every news source today is filled with stories related to the COVID-19 virus. Some of you are working from home, thinking about when you might go back to work. All of us are wondering how long this season of life will last. Schools are open today, but you're wondering what next week will look like for your kids. I expect you've got lots of questions, and likely one of them has to do with our RockPointe community. How are we going to handle all that's going on? I hope to provide you with some answers today. But before I dive in, I want to remind you of two very important things. First, as followers of Jesus, we believe in a God who is present, sovereign, and loving. Psalm 91 reminds us that He is our shelter, our protection, our place of refuge and safety. Philippians 4 reminds us not to be anxious about life, but to bring the things that trouble us to our God in prayer. In John 14, Jesus says to His disciples who are about to face a most challenging time, "Don't let your hearts be troubled. You trust in God, trust also in me." As well, I want to remind you that God does some of His best stuff in difficult times. We don't need to live in fear. Of all peoples on earth, we, Christ followers, know the truth and can live from an entirely different perspective, a hopeful one. Our God knows. He knows the number of days ordained to us, the number of hairs on our head. He knows every square inch of our lives. He knows you're watching this To the Point right now. And it's in these moments that we recognize that the church isn't a building. It's us, God's people. Life may look different today, but His people are doing just fine. We belong to a God who is able to use us, scattered as we are across our many communities, as we take advantage of opportunities to serve others in challenging times. This season provides a wonderful opportunity to bless and love our neighbors as ourselves. Now, here's what you need to know. First, in response to yesterday's request from our Alberta Health Services asking us not to meet in gatherings larger than 250 people, we're moving all our services to an online format. While an exception is offered for places of worship to continue to meet, our leadership believes it's wise to follow our government's request. So this weekend, don't show up at any of our locations, but join us online. You can do so by going to rockpointe.ca and joining our live stream service Saturday evening at 6:30 p.m. As well, you may participate in that service at any time over the weekend by simply clicking on the live stream and on-demand button on our homepage. As part of our service together, I'll be speaking on the topic of living well in turbulent times. Second, this is a great opportunity to deepen our experience of community. Hebrews 10 reminds us not to neglect meeting together, but to continue to encourage each other. We want to do this as long as it is prudent and permissible to do so. Truth be told, we're more likely to consistently engage in worship online when we choose to do this with others. This is a great time to gather for worship with your small group or even form a new one. If you know of folks in your neighborhood who would profit from joining you, why not invite them to join in? Let's get creative in the expressions of our generosity. Third, as well, I want to remind you to keep an eye on RockPointe's various communication channels. RockPointe.ca, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram will provide you with all of the information you need as we walk through this season. As I close, I want you to be encouraged to lean into God and what He wants to teach you in this season. This is such a great time for us to grow in Christ. Our world may not look like it did last week or last month, but it presents us with a tremendous opportunity to fully follow Jesus in unprecedented ways as we seek to live as disciples on mission together. Stay tuned for more on our website and our social media platforms. Blessing to you today.